Hello, subscribers. Welcome to a live stream. We're going to be chatting tonight and working. We're going to be working on the Bard's Tale Trilogy mod. I'm pretty deep into it. I've made tons of progress. I want to continue that. And of course, people can just stop by and chat, ask questions, whatever. So, hey, Bo, welcome to the stream. How are you doing tonight? I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. Well, yeah, hopefully it'll be a chill stream for everyone. Not for me. It's going to be working pretty intense, but that's what we're doing. So I'm doing this mod exclusively with a hex editor, hacking the Bard's Tale Trilogy mod or data files. This is a balance mod I'm working on. I guess probably the best thing to do is talk about the things I've done so far. Let me bring this up. Okay. So this is not an inclusive list, but this is some of the changes I've made so far. So the first thing I did was I fixed a bug with the Repel Dead spell. It actually hurt all monsters before. So it was supposed to only work on undead, and it worked on everything. So that was broken. I'm pretty sure it's broken in the original games too. So I think they just brought that forward. That's done. That's fixed. I replaced the mandolin in Garth's shop with some shurikens so that gives players some options for ranged attacks in the beginning. The interesting thing about shurikens is they equip on the item slot of the character. So they're a ranged weapon that you can attack with, but it doesn't hog up your offhand, which is normally a shield or arrows. If you're shooting a bow, a lot of times a bow would go on the offhand. So those are interesting. So anyway, you can buy actually 10 of them for 600 gold. I was trying to think of ways that you could spend some more money in the game because in all the games, the third one doesn't have a shop, but the first two have shops. And you buy your starting equipment and then you never buy anything again because the options are limited. You can use the shop to recharge items. So you can sell them, and if you have a certain flag enabled, I think it's the Commodore 64 version, when you buy it back, it recharges it. So I've been adjusting prices to allow that. But besides that, the only thing you use your money on is the temple and buying spells for when you level up. So I wanted to add a few items to at least extend your money for a little longer. The short sword did the exact same damage as the staff. So there is no point to this. So I replaced that with what's called a spell spear. This is an item that was in the second Bard's Tale that I always thought was weird because it's worth 1,000 gold for one. And you could only throw it 30 feet, which I adjusted to make 40. You can use it melee, so 3 to 18, so it'll do more than the halberd, which is the best starting equipment you can get originally. So it's just slightly better than the halberd, but it does have a +2 to hit on it, and you can throw it one charge for 12 to 48 damage. So I always wondered why in the world did they put in this spell spear item? Because they have spears, regular spears, which you can also throw. And doing all this hacking, I've discovered a lot about the internals of the game and how it works and everything. And so the spell spear is actually, it literally is a spell that gets cast when you do this. And it checks the monster's spell save attribute instead of checking their armor class. So you can actually, if something has a really low armor class, you can actually hit them with this. So I think that's why it costs more. So that was something really interesting I discovered. I'm gonna be dropping all kinds of little pieces of information that maybe not many people know about because it's kind of interesting. So one thing that bothered me in the game, always bothered me, was the only person that could disarm a ground trap was the Conjurer's Trap Zap spell. Rogues can disarm traps only on treasure chests, but not ground traps. I was like, what? So that, it doesn't make the rogue super useful from that perspective. So I added a special item type called the Trap Disarmer that only rogues can use, but you have to find them. So you can't buy these, and they can have about 5 charges max. But they cast Trap Zap, and only the rogues can use it. So I put that item into the game. Next, I gave back an ability that used to exist on the Pure Blade, which for some reason was removed in the trilogy. And that's this, it has the ability to cast Flesh Anew, which is a healing spell for the whole party that heals 10 to 40 hit points, I believe, and it cures poison and insanity. So I gave it a max of 10 charges. I also bumped the damage on the Pure Blade. Since the Paladin's the only one that can use this, one of the things I really like about the game is they have different item types, and certain classes can use them to try to encourage, a diverse party, also to help with trying to solve different problems in different ways. So I'm trying to expand on that because I've done a lot of testing and a lot of playing in the past Iron Man mode with different combinations. So this will give the paladin an ability to heal, which he doesn't have currently. Of course, this makes this cost a lot more. Goes from 400 to 5,000. So what that means is if you sell this and want to recharge it at the shop to buy it back, it'll cost you 2,500 gold because you get half the gold when you sell an item, and then of course you have to buy it at full price. So I'm adjusting all kinds of prices and stuff to think and consider about spending your gold because you generally have too much, and then making it where it's fair. This item, the Thieves' Dart, was always an interesting one. Only rogues can use them, but you would only find 2 or 3 at a time, and you can't stack them. So basically, what they do is that they're a breath attack, 20-foot range, and they do 16 to 64 damage. And you would find them much later in the game. So finding 2 to 3 charge breath attack that does this damage, just it wasn't helpful in the original game. It was completely useless. So I made it where they can have a max of 20, and I bumped the cost. Well, actually, the cost is the same. This was way overpriced for 2 to 3 charges compared to other items. But the other thing I've done, which I'll probably get to later, I don't think I mentioned it here. Yeah, overall, what I've done to the game, all 3 volumes, and I'm starting with the first one, but I'm gonna do the same thing across all of them, is adjust first of all the hit points of the enemies because it's all over the place. In the original game, let me bring up a spreadsheet and show you some stuff. Let's see here. So in the original game, these are from the first Bard's Tale, some data I downloaded off the internet. You'll see a wide variety of hit points. Like a magician has 2 to 33, Were Tiger 8 to 39. So the range is huge. Hydra. Now, you know what a Hydra is? Hydra is a monstrous, multi-headed creature, beast. He can have 4 hit points. So 4 to 35, which makes no sense. So there's lots of things like this. This giant statue thing can have 4 to 67. So what I've done is make the hit points more consistent. Like here, look, a gray dragon could have 8 to 71. An 8 hit point dragon. That's just absurd. So I'm converting their hit points. Gray dragon has 70 to 110 now. So I'm balancing all this out. Hey, Sastam, welcome to the stream. How are you doing? Bo says, no recharge loophole, eh? Yeah, you can still do it, but it'll cost you. So, which you don't have anything to spend money on a lot of times anyway. So anyway, that's one adjustment I've been making over time. Another thing is the armor class of the monsters. So there was a natural progression as it would decrease as you got farther into the game, but the lowest it went was -10, which is not low enough. The game can go down to -50. So with -10 armor classes, you can hit everything all the time, pretty much without any kind of bonuses if you have like a level 20 character, which that's nonsensical to me. There needs to be some kind of challenge, and there needs to be some strategy and reason to play. So I've been adjusting the armor classes on certain enemies, just overall lower. And then once you get toward the end of the game, you'll find some things really low, like liches and balrogs and things like that, like -20, -22 and stuff. And I did a bunch of testing, and you're doing good, Sass? Awesome. I did a bunch of testing, and I figured out that kind of the ranges where when you get hit point or hit chance bonuses, what you can hit in various levels, and the natural progression of the characters as they progress through the game. And I'm trying to get that well balanced. So it'll take more testing for me to get it ideal the way I want it, but it's so much better so that there's a challenge. And so you have to actually think about your to hit chance. There's some spells in this game that boost your hit chance. And then of course there's some items and stuff that can do it too. But you'd never cast it. All you'd ever do is cast attack spells and blow up the enemy and you're done. So there was really no strategy to anything as far as that goes. So now I've made it where you can miss sometimes depending on where you're at in the game, what level you are, the items you have, that kind of stuff. So it'll encourage you to potentially cast spells that boost your hit chance and things like that. You'll have to kind of figure out which monsters have lower armor class, because in given areas there's a range. So sometimes you may need to do it, sometimes you may not. But the player will kind of figure that out over time. So that's another adjustment. Experience I've been adjusting over time. I'm definitely going to have to do more of that, because there's some things that were way too low, and then other things that were higher. I'm like, why is it that high? And it made no sense. Some monsters, I'm decreasing the quantity of them that are kind of more, they're tougher. They're meant to be tougher monsters. You don't want to be fighting 8 of those. Should be cut down to 2 to 4, and they should be made tougher. So those kinds of adjustments. Spell save, I'm still working on. I haven't done enough testing yet. Sastam says, are there no mod tools for the Bard's Tale? So you have to hex edit everything in. That's correct, says. There is no tool out there that will allow you to change the game. Now, someone made some character editors and stuff, but that's real simple, and that's not changing any of the game itself. But no one has made a modding tool for this. So as far as I know, I'm the first one out here creating a mod of the game. But spell save, basically what this is the monster's chance to resist a spell. It also is a monster's chance to penetrate with a spell. So one thing I discovered was there's kind of a min spell save. It's more like a min penetrate value. And the spell save combines their resistance with their maximum penetration with a spell. So when this is high, there's a potential for them to penetrate higher level characters that could normally resist, but it also causes the monster to be able to resist better. So that's a very interesting attribute. I just got to do a lot more testing to find the sweet spots in the different areas of the game to make it where you're just not immune to everything all the time. Because I've played it a lot, and I find that once you get to a certain level, hardly no monsters can ever have a spell work on you. And again, to me, that's nonsense. It shouldn't be that way. So I'm going to fix that. Let's see. I'm adjusting some of the special attacks on some monsters and the spells they cast. Like Manger did not cast Manger's Mind Blade, which is a spell that, players use all the time. So I gave him that. And I've changed the summons, especially the wizard summons. Let me bring up my notes here. The summons were really screwed up. They were all out of whack. Let's see if I can find where I talk about that. I wonder if I put it on this spreadsheet. Yeah, let me go back to the spreadsheet. It'll make more sense probably. So one thing I did was you can summon a storm giant. It's a level 7 sorcerer spell. But it was kind of like there was no need for it later. One thing that bugs me about games is when you start getting spells in different areas and they're higher level, all of a sudden you quit using the lower level spells. They just don't have a reason to be used anymore. So I've been trying to make the summons have niche uses so that they can maybe handle certain situations better than other summons. So for example, I gave this storm giant a hammer ability where he can throw a hammer and hit something at a far range. And essentially, spell save is still checked, but it can hit something like with a minus 45 armor class potentially. So if you're fighting an enemy that has cast buff spells like invisibility and has gotten its armor class really low, the storm giant still has a chance to hit it. Also against you. So you can get monks that have minus 50 armor class eventually, and which is insane, and nothing can ever hit them. So I've been trying to make it where you can't have like an immune character anymore. So the storm giant, for example, could hit a minus 45, whereas some of the other summons that maybe do breath attacks, like the dragon, that can only hit minus 25 versus minus 45. But it can breathe and hit an area and do a good amount of damage in an area. So sometimes you want to be able to hit an enemy that you just can't lay your hands on because the armor class is low. and maybe it's super magic resistant, so Storm Giant would be better. Other times you might want to hit a whole group of enemies and do damage if their magic resistance isn't super good. Same thing with like the Wind Hero. Actually, I don't have him on here, but the Storm Giant and the Wind Hero are both level 7 sorcerer spells. So it's like, why would you use one versus the other? So the Wind Hero has more hit points, can hit even lower armor class, but he's melee only, for example. So there's trade-offs to that. Lich, let's see, drastically lowered the armor class. This is a level 6 wizard spell. I think it's called Spirit Spell. And you would never summon a Lich because a demon was always better, which a demon was a level 2 spell, I think. Is either level 2 or 3. So it was just screwed up. I've corrected all that. So now you have a reason to get Liches and things. So anyway, I've done stuff like that. Go back to notes. What else? Lots of item changes. The troll staff in the game. This was a weird item. So it costs 30,000 gold. And it would give you regeneration ability, which sounds great, right? Be able to regenerate. But the problem is you only regenerate 1 hit point every 5 seconds. And the Bard's Tale has so much healing in it that it almost became useless unless you can get regeneration early where you don't have a whole lot of healing at your disposal. So what I did was I boosted the troll staff by giving it 5 charges to be able to cast the regeneration spell, and I boosted its damage. So to address what I was talking about the regeneration, I added a new item type. Where's it at? Did I put it in here? Yeah, it's called the Hydra's Ring. So essentially what it is it's like the Troll Ring. The Troll Ring just gives hit point regen of 1 every 5 seconds. That's it. So Troll Ring has been buffed to now have more regeneration charges, spellcasts in it. So it's actually useful later in the game. And you get the Hydra's Ring real early. You can find this. I put it in somewhere in the sewers that you'll have to find. It's a random drop. So that's going to be cool because it'll allow you to get a lot of use out of that kind of early on, all the way up through mid game before you start finding other types of rings you want to use. Hey, Moody, welcome to the stream. How are you doing? That's right, I'm trolling you. What else? Let's see. Oh, Staff of Lore. So this would cast the restoration spell, which is an extremely strong spell. It basically heals your whole party. All hit points, removes poison, removes insanity. It had 35 charges. Nope, way too much. So I dropped that all the way down to 4. So, and you can find, you could always find multiple Staves of Lore, but it'll hog up item slots. So you have to be a little more strategic. And you could always sell this and buy it back recharged, but again, you're going to pay for it. So I bumped the cost to 3,500 for those 4 charges. There's an item called the War Staff, which always made me scratch my head because when you would find it, it was really lame. Like it didn't give you any bonus to hit, I don't believe, and it just did kind of mediocre damage. So what I did with this was I gave you a -4 armor class. The shield staff, which is a good item, gives you -2. So this actually gives you twice as much as that. And since enemies can now hit lower armor class, like the peak, it's more advantageous to try to get as low as you can on your armor class. So that's a trade-off. You have to decide, do you want to do more damage or do you want better armor class? Talked about the ground disarm item I already put in. Oscon's Ogre Strength spell needed a buff. It's plus 6 damage per attack. Your character will not get plus 12. You can find something called Death Stars, but you'd only find up to 4. And again, you can't stack them. So I changed that to 12, but I bumped the cost. The also the other weird thing was it was considered a weapon. So you'd have to equip it. And in melee range, when you had that equipped, you do 1 to 2 damage. But then you could throw them for good damage. I think that was a mistake because the shurikens are in the item slot. So I changed the Death Stars to also be the item slot. You're 6 out of 10, Moody. Awesome. Glad to hear it. Thief Dagger. I gave -3 armor class if you equip it. It's rogues only. I made the boomerang, which you start finding in Bard's Tale 2. I made it usable by paladins and hunters and removed the monk. So hunters could not use it, neither could paladins, which I thought was kind of weird because they can use the death ring, which is an upgraded boomerang. So fix that. It's also now offhand. Before it used the item slot, now it uses offhand slot. So you'll have to decide if you want to use a shield or if you want to use the boomerang. Change this price. Oh, it should be 3,000. The other thing is can find in Bard's Tale 1 now. So I'm not going to tell you where you can find that, but you can. You are able to find this in the first volume now and get some use out of it. Death Ring, that's that upgrade, is no longer usable by monks. Monks needed a bit of balancing, so I removed that from them. Damage also. There's certain things in the games that did really high damage, and the reason is because they gave way too many hit points later on. Bard's Tale 2 just went insane with some hit points later in the game. You'd be fighting a whole bunch of monsters that had 5,000 hit points. So it kind of became like a JRPG where you get these weapons that have these giant damages, but it doesn't mean anything because now the enemy's hit points are massive. It's just, I never liked that. To me, it's silly. So I'm going to drastically lower the hit points to make it reasonable in the second and third Bard's Tale. And because of that, I am adjusting all the items too. The reason why I don't like that when games do that is it makes things you find early on useless. Like Manger's Mind Blade, it only does 10 to 40 damage to all enemies within 60-foot range. Well, when you have 5,000 hit point enemies, you're never going to cast a spell like that. It's just stupid. So I wanted to make it where the older spells are still useful. It's a general theme. Okay, Sword of Pack. The cost was 3,000. I boosted it to 10,000. So lesser summoning spell I've modified. It used to summon lesser demons. Now it summons Molten Man, which is kind of like an elemental. He's an upgraded elemental. And he has a breath attack. So the reason I did this was lesser demons do not have a breath attack. They have a curse spell. regular demons have breath attack. So the Sword of Pact can only be used by warriors and hunters. So by giving them the ability to cast Lesser Summoning and summon this guy, you can now have a party of all warriors and hunters if you wanted to, and still at some point have breath attacks because you can summon these. They're kind of like glass cannons. These guys do good damage, but they're kind of lower in hit point. So anyway, just put more strategy into the game. Minor buffs and changes like Sorcerer's Staff, Crystal Sword. Spirit Drums, again, used to do lesser summoning, which was a lesser demon. And now they're a little stronger. They can summon phantoms, which really is a specter. So that gives some more options there. You can find shurikens more often now. They're extremely rare drop, so it pretty much made them useless before. Oh my picture's blocking some of the text. Yeah, sorry. Let's see. Okay, the Bard Sword. Any of the items that give unlimited Bard songs, you can still find, but you find them much later in the 3 volumes. So, volume 1, 2, and 3, you can only find them like usually toward the last area because you would get them so early it made taverns useless. It made wineskins useless. You just equip the Bard Sword and you always just play unlimited songs. That is not balanced. Same goes for Song Axe. There's a new item in Garth's shop now called the Health Potion. And it is 1 charge of Word of Healing. So Word of Healing, I think, heals, I want to say 2 to 16 damage. So you'll be able to use these potions on other characters. So like you could have someone in the back invoke it on someone that's in the front. It's just 1 charge and then it'll disappear. But and you can't stack them so that you can't just buy, unlimited potions and then go out. So this is a way to encourage players to be able to spend some money at Garth's. They're 300 gold each. But they have to balance between their inventory getting full and having some early healing without using casters. So I wanted to make it where people could go down into dungeons and stuff without any casters and still be able to function. I added a new arrow type called Far Arrows. They're kind of like Mithril. A little bit more damage than Mithril, but they can go 70 instead of 50. There's not enough arrow types in the game, and this will help encourage that earlier on. I boosted the Freeze Foes spell. I did a bunch of testing with this, and from what I can tell, it only would give you a bonus chance to hit of 2 on the group that you cast it on. So that out of a 60 range for armor class, because it goes from 10 to minus 50, a boost of 2 for casting a spell it really does not make sense. So I changed it to 10. And with the testing I did, like in Manger's Tower, it actually makes this spell useful now. Hawkblade was never used by the time you'd find it because you'd have better equipment that did more damage. Instead, it gets a +3 to hit in case you're having a hard time hitting things. You can equip this as a trade-off. Blood Axe, that's a hunter-only item. Again, you'd probably never use it by the time you find it. So I gave it a bonus to hit, if +4 instead of +2. So that gives you more options. And then I gave it 50 charges of Mage Gauntlets, which that's a spell that gives you, I believe it's either 2 to 16 or 4 to 16 extra damage per hit. So it allows a hunter to be able to buff either himself or some of the other characters by using it. Hex editing? Where's Jimmy? Yeah, exactly. He's on Kiffer's stream right now. Kiffer's playing Al-Qaeda or whatever it's called. Okay. So then the final change so far with items is I changed the broom to cast Far Foe instead of Major Levitation because you can already find Allie's Carpet, which does Major Levitation. So this just gives some of the casters the ability to cast Far Foe, which would be cool for an all-caster party because you could just push the enemies away and then blast them down with spells. So more options. All right, so let's get into some hex editing. What I'm going to do is flip over here, turn this one off, turn this one on. You're not going to be able to see a lot of this, but I'm not intending for you to see it right now, the spreadsheet. Okay, what we're going to do is go down the line and make adjustments on monsters right now. That's probably what we'll mainly do tonight. So I'm not making a bunch of adjustments to the lower level monsters, but I am making some. Looks like I've already changed a bunch of these. Let me double check it. So there's a bunch of files. And the monsters I found them in different files. So one of the files is called level 1, and it's in the Bard's Tale Trilogy _data folder. Level 1, so far what I've discovered is it has spells, it has summoned monsters, like all their information. Items. All that stuff's in here. Let me bring up another one here. The file called level 3 is the first Bard's Tale. It's things like what items are found in which dungeons, what monsters will spawn, and stuff like that. The hex editor I'm using, Moody, this one's called Fred, FRHED. It stands for Free Hex Editor. But I also use one called WX Hex. So I use both. But the way it works, you can see some English stuff over here on the right with the hex editor. On the left is the hex values. So some things are binary, which won't show up as text, obviously, like this number 42 right here. Let me find something. I like this here. This DA, all these numbers mean stuff. So what this is showing here is there's indexes to items that will have names and all kinds of references and things. There's a special file called shared assets 0.assets. I'm going to go ahead and open that one. And in here, it has text that gets displayed based on the language. So, for example, here is the key, spell teleport. English, what it displays in the game is return from Gileadia to the wilderness. So if I want to change the text in the game to say something else, this is what I have to work with. Now here's French. which obviously I don't know, so I can't change that. This is Denmark, I believe, DE. Espanol, Spanish. There's Polish and Russian. So those are the languages built into the game. Hey Jimmy, welcome to the stream. How you doing? Which one do you use for cheating? Okay, so this file contains some of this stuff, as you can see. So when I change a spell, for example, and I want to update the description, I would find it here. I'm going to look for Manger's Mallet. Let's see, MAMA. That's the code. So Manger's Mallet's not in here, but the code for it is, which is this. So I nerfed Manger's Mallet. It used to do 200 to 800 damage, which is ridiculous. And again, is because the monsters had too many hit points, and I'm going to fix all that. So I changed it to 100 to 200. Let me see if I can find it. Do that again. Let me just search for 100 to 200. So right here, spell Manger's Mallet. This originally said 200 to 800. So I just changed the text. Now this has nothing to do with how it actually works in the game. This is just for it to show up on the screen properly. Changing this won't change the in-game damage. You have to find the actual values for that in a different file, which I was telling you is in this level 1. So let's go find it. So here it is. This is the code for it, Mama, Manger's Mallet. And as you can see here, there's a bunch of numbers. Here's a 1, 0A, 07, 50. There's just all these numbers in here, and I had to track down what these meant. So let me bring up a calculator, give you a little show here. Hey, Rushanaka, welcome to the stream. How are you doing? Okay, let's put this on the screen. All right, there's the calculator. So what we're going to do is flip over to programmer view. Right now we're in base 10, which is decimal. If you want to type in a hex number, you can click on hex here, but we're going to do, which is 8, that's base 8, or base 16. Oct is base 8, but hex editors use base 16. So anyway, originally we knew it was 200, 800 damage, right? So what you do, type in 800, because that's what we want to look for, and it will tell us what the hex value is. You can see it here, but I flip back and forth. This is quicker. So we're looking for the number 320. But here's the kicker. Intel processors, which is what all DOS and Windows computers run on, is, let me think for a minute. Big Endian, wait, is it Big Endian or Little Endian? It's Little Endian. So you have to reverse the numbers. So essentially what we have to do now is, instead of looking for 320, we need to look for 20, because it's in 2 byte pairs. You need to look for 20 and then a 03. That is 800. Let's bring this up. So let's look for a 2003. Well, that's what it used to be. I changed it. So we're not going to find that. I changed it to 200. So let's find the 200 so you can see that. C8. So the way, for those that don't know how computers work, in general, they work off 8 bits, which is a byte. And in hex, you can only get up to 255. That's the highest number you can push into 1 byte, which is in hex FF. Once you go past 255, you have to add another byte now. So it would become, let me show you. If we do 256, it's going to become 100, but remember it's backwards. So we would do 0001. So anyway, since we didn't overflow with our 200 damage, it fits into 1 byte. So this is what we're looking for, C8. That's the damage, the max damage of Manger's Mallet now. It's going to be in here somewhere. Here it is, right here. So what I'm going to do is we're going to backtrack and highlight to the first position number after the name of the spell. So see Mama here? If you look, there's 1, 2, 3 sets of zeros and then a 0, 1. The reason why you don't want to see where it's at based on the spell name is because sometimes this last number starts somewhere else. It starts a few bytes later and it'll screw up your positioning. You'll be way off on everything. So if you look for the first real number after its spell name and go 100 positions to the right on a damage spell, that's the max damage on that spell. And we can tell down here in the bottom. Can you see that? Yeah. 100 bytes. It's showing we've selected 100 bytes here. Now, the min damage is here. If we go back and look, it's 96 bytes from the offset. Yeah, on the left, Moody, all of these numbers I'm showing you are hexadecimal. You doing all right? Rushinaka? I'm doing well, thanks. How do you learn this? I guess you were hex editing in the 90s? Yeah, in the 80s I was hex editing. I was doing it when I was a teenager, Bo. That's why some of the my characters in Commodore 64 Fantasy could only go up to max hit points 255. Yeah, so they used a byte for the hit points then. If they would have used 2 bytes, then you could go up to 65,535. Hey, Ludius, welcome to the stream. How are you doing? We are making a mod for Bard's Tale Trilogy. So we're not, I mean, technically we are hacking it, but yeah, massive hex editing. So anyway, that's just an example on how you can find things with hex editing. But I'm going to start hacking the monsters. We're going to just start adjusting their armor classes and their 2-hit. So let me go back to my spreadsheet. So the first one I need to look at is the gnome, which is in level 3. It's in the level 3 file. It's not in level 1. And that's not the data file. This is just the name of the gnome. Here it is. So this whole spot that I've highlighted to here, this is the gnome's data in the game. So we're looking for a 9 because that's the value I assigned. And it looks like that's the new minimum armor class that they can hit. So they can hit from anywhere from 9 to -8. If you go beyond that range with your armor class, they can't hit you. So I've already adjusted this one. Let me look at dwarf. Top of the file. Okay. Let me check my notes to see where armor class is. Armor class is 44 positions from the first number. So here's the first number. We need to go 44. Make sure I'm in the right thing. Let me see. It says 52 after the name. But again, because of where the bytes can start, that may not be correct. Yeah, according to this is looking like a armor class 4, which is not correct. I feel like this has been altered already. First number, 44. Showing a 1. I don't remember changing this guy's armor class to a 1. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to fire up the game and see. Because we probably killed enough to know in the guide. Spot check it with the guide. Ludia says, I did wish the Bard's Trilogy came with a built-in editor. Of course, there's the old construction set. Hey, Mr. Spock, welcome to the stream. How are you doing? No, there's no asset editor. There's nothing for this game. So we're just going to load something and look at the Wilderness. No, that's Bard's Tale 2. We're going to look at the guide on dwarves, and it should show the hit points. Let's do this one. Or the armor class. According to that, it should be a 1, which should not be correct. According to the original game. Oh, wrong one. We're going to go over dwarf. Armor class 9. Let me make sure I got the right dwarf. Bard's Tale 1, dwarf, level 3. Right here. No, that's the number found probably. I'm assuming that's the number found. Can you see? Oh, you can't see. I got the game up. Okay, so anyway, you can see here. Let me get rid of the calculator. It's blocking the view. There we go. Armor class 9, spell save 8, can hit -8. 2 to 8 damage. So we're looking for a 9. Oh, yeah. Okay. It is correct. It is correct. I had a momentary loss of how the internals work. So what this is this is their armor class subtracted from 10. So this took me a while to figure out. So this number here is not exact. That's not exactly your armor class because they don't do a negative number. So what they do is they subtract from 10 this number, which gave him a 9. So if I wanted to give him an armor class of 1, I would put a 9 here. So it would subtract 9 from 10 and you'd have an armor class of 1. So there's some weirdness like that that took a little while to figure out. But a song about a gnome on a hot stove. Gnome on the range. You're not techie enough to figure that out. Yeah, it's okay, Ludius. Okay, so anyway, that's correct. The next thing I needed to fix on it was the chance to hit. I want it to be a 9. So this attribute, the minimum that it can hit is 200 from the first number. So here's the first number. We need to go to 200 here. So again, this subtracts from 10. So this means they can hit anywhere from a 9 armor class to whatever the hexadecimal of 12 is. Let me get this thing out of the way here. Hex of 12 is 18, but remember we have to subtract that from 10. So that means they can hit -8. -8 armor class is the best they can hit. So anywhere from a 9 to a -8. And it's a random number that gets generated. So then it determines, that's how it determines if you get hit or not. If you have -9 armor class, they cannot hit you. So let's just start going down the line. So I fixed that. That's all corrected. Summoned wolf, I want to leave it minus, or at 6 minimum. Jade monk, we're leaving. Zombie, all those we're leaving. Summoned ogre, I need to change to a max of -15. Let's bring up. The summons are in level 1, the level 1 file. All summons are in there. So we're looking for position 200. That's the minimum, and then this is the maximum. So right now it's 18, which is 24. So they can hit -14 right now. I want to make that a -15. So all I need to do is bump it by 1, 19. So now they can hit -15. Okay. Which one am I going to do next? Blue Dragon can hit, it used to be able to hit -4 minimum. So if you had a -3 or better armor class, like worse armor class, it would always hit you. I changed it to 6, but I'm going to bump it even higher. I'm going to make it 8 so that they can miss. They can hit all the way down to -20. So we did a 6. Let's look for that. It should be in position 200. Blue Dragon. Where are you? After the first number, which is this one, we're going down 200. Which is this 1E. Or no, I'm doing the minimum. So the minimum right now, this is 10 -4, which is 6. I want to bump it to 8, so we make this a 2. We nerfed the Blue Dragon. Let's see. Seeker. I'm going to nerf that to a 6. No, we're not making the game easier, Moody. We're making it more balanced. So some parts will be harder, some parts will be easier. But it'll be more challenging and you'll have to have more strategy. So they could hit a 2 before. I'm making it a 6. So we're going to put a 4. 10 minus 4, 6. Samurai Lord can hit 1 down to minus 24. So I'm gonna make it where they can't hit. Instead of 1, I'm gonna make it a 5. So it nerfs them a tiny bit on the low side, but they're buffed on the high side compared to the original game. Samurai Lord. $200 instead of 9, 5. Okay. Ghouls can hit anywhere from 3 to minus 23. They can wither you. I'm going to raise this so that you're less likely to get hit on the low side. I'm going to make it a 7 instead of a 3. Oops. So this was armor class 3. We're going to make it a 7. So we actually swap it. 10 minus 3 is 7. Were Tiger. I've nerfed their low already. Hydra. Actually, I'm going to change these to armor class 9. Were Tiger. I'm going to nerf them even more. Okay. Hydra. Nerfed. Green Dragon. We're going to nerf them too. Let's see. Six becomes 8. Make this a 2. I can hit armor class 8 as their worst. Wraith. So Wraiths can be summoned. I have 4 minimum they can hit on the summon, and the non-summoned version minimum can hit 1. They can cause insanity if they hit you, which is really dangerous. Okay. We're going to change it to minimum of 7 instead of 1. So nerf them there. So that's a 1 right now. We're changing to 7. Which needs to be a 3. I also need to adjust their hit points. Their hit points were 10 to 41. They're now going to be buffed 55 to 85. That's what I did on the summoned one. Let me check my notes and see where hit points start. They start, min hit points is 24 from the first number. $24. Right there. Yep. 0A is definitely a 10. We are changing it to a 55. So on our calculator, 55. X is 37. And then these are max hit points, which we want to be 85. That's a 55 in hex. Okay, so we got a nerf and a buff at the same time on them. Hey there, Yella, welcome to the stream. How you doing? And thanks for the follow. He says, how does this not hurt your brain, man? Well, I'm a software developer, and it does after a while. Your eyes kind of go batty doing this, but there are no tools, so we're having to manually hex everything to make a mod for the game. Okay. So this wraith has now been fixed. Let me double check on its armor class, make sure I got that right. That should be 44. Here, 0F. Which is 15, which is -5. Yeah, that's not correct. Unless I have the wrong value. Hang on. Check my notes. Armor class. Yeah, it's 44 from the first number. $44. So this is armor class. So yeah, this needs to be made -8, which is technically 18 because it starts at armor class 10. So we want a hex value of 12 there. Now he has -8 armor class. You're going to be going soon, Moody? All right. Had request to stream Bard's Tale. Nice. Doing the originals or the remaster? You hope to stream my Bard's Tale mod? Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'll probably have the first volume done that you could start playing the first volume. I'm gonna assume within a couple weeks, maybe even sooner. So it's gonna be soon, but I'm gonna do my own play testing. So I probably won't release it until I do my own. So for you, it might be a month or so out, Moody. But yeah, absolutely. Definitely make it available. Okay. So now we got to check the summoned wraith. Summoned wraith is a different beast. 44 -12. So that one's already right. I corrected the summoned one. Already got the hit points right. We need to adjust the 2 hit most likely, which is on position 200. So it's 0B. Yeah, that's definitely not right. It needs to be 3. We're nerfing it. 1B. Let's see what that is. This is the max armor class it can hit. 27, which is minus 17, because we have to subtract 10 for the armor class 10. That's what I want. Okay. Cool. Oh, sure, Moody, you bet. Okay, next is the lurker. Do I want to change it? That doesn't have any special attacks, so I'm fine with that. Copper Dragon, we need to nerf that. Needs to be an 8. Position 200. To make it an 8, we need a 2 here. Shadow has an insanity attack. I'm going to raise its minimum. I'm going to make it a 7. Not the Mind Shadow, that's something different. So we need a 3 here. Nerf. Berserker. So the Berserkers are the enemies where you end up fighting 396 of them in the hallway. In that giant, room in Harkin's Castle. Original game, they could hit anywhere from -2 to -18 armor class. I'm changing it where they can hit lower than that. They can hit down to -26. But instead of -2 being the minimum, I'm going to make it 10. So they have, I'll make it a 9. So the range is actually about the same. It's just they can hit lower. I shouldn't say the range is the same. The range is wider. You have a chance to dodge with an armor class 3, for example. Before it would hit you no matter what. But a monk, for example, that would have like -25 armor class, who would never get hit by him, could now be hit. Small chance, but it could still happen. So Berserker. There they are. Okay, we're going to make that a 1. White Dragon. We're going to nerf them a little bit on their 2 hit. That's interesting. They've got some weird numbers in here. I'm gonna have to figure out what this stuff is. Like almost every enemy, that's all zeros. Weird. I wonder if it's just like leftover data from a copy paste or something that the original developers did. And maybe this doesn't do anything. Anyway, we've nerfed this to 7, so make it a 3. Ice Giant we need to nerf to a 9. Lydia says, I was planning on doing a video on demand of Xenonauts tonight, so I might head off. All right, Lydius, we'll have a good evening. You already have one video of it, just haven't uploaded yet. Xenonauts, is that a new game or what is that? Okay. I Spy I've nerfed. Ogre Lord. I'm actually going to leave that. Body Snatcher I'm going to boost to a 9. They can possess. They need to be nerfed a little bit. So... Well, new is in a few years ago. It's almost like a direct remake of the 90s XCOM. Oh, nice. Cool. A few differences, huh? So Ludius, do you have a YouTube channel or go over to my Discord channel if you haven't already, and there's your channels and post a link to it if you want. You can post a single link there. I tell people to go there so that others can discover them. Just do a one-time post of your channel and talk about it a tiny bit. Or if you do Twitch, put that on there too. Okay, next. Zorn. I think we're going to nerf that to a 9. You have a channel? Been a nerd for a long time though. You'll go do that. Okay, good. Yeah, I didn't know you had one. See, unless people talk about it, no one would ever know. Okay, that's fixed. Let's see, a Phantom. So they can drain a level. Now I have it on a 0. Draining level isn't as detrimental as like a possession. Because it's not like the D&D form of level draining. You can cure it. Hey, Draman, welcome to the stream. How are you doing? I'm a complete drooling troglodyte with this hex editing. Which hex editor tool are you using? I'm using one called Fred, F-R-H-E-D. Free hex editor, it stands for. I think I'm going to nerf this to a 4. We'll do the summoned phantom first. Oh yeah, there is no summoned phantom. I think I replaced it. Okay, well that makes that easy. 200. So instead of being able to hit armor class 0, we're going to make it where the minimum is a 4, which it should be a 6. Nerfed. Okay. Lesser Demon. Lydia says, I find video on demand's easier because I can edit out all the embarrassing moments. Yeah. If I was given a tutorial or something, I would definitely do a video on demand like that. Just edit it. But this is just a way for me to work. Talk same time, chat if people have questions. Yeah, we're going to leave that at a 0. Summoned Lesser Demon. We need him to be able to hit armor class 0. So we're going to change this to an A. Right now it was -5. So we just nerfed them a tiny bit. Let's make sure I did this one too. Yep, that one's already been done. Master Ninja. So I'm going to leave them being able to hit -5. And I'm going to decrease the number you can encounter. You can increase, or you can encounter 8 of them. They do critical hits. There's not many in the first Bard's Tale do critical hits, but these can. Boosted their hit points. Well, let me double check on that. Hit points, I think, are at position 24, maybe? Let me look. Got it in my notes. Yeah, 24 from the first numbers, min hit points. 6. That's way too low. So I have not changed those yet. We're going to make it 35 minimum, which hex is 23. 23, and then max hit points, we want to make 70. Which is 46. Ah, it was already 69. Bump it by 1. Okay, and then armor class, I'm wanting to be -12. Yeah, I may actually want it even lower than that. Yeah, let's do -14. Okay, Ludius, have a good night. Probably already gone. -14, which is 24 because we have to add the 10. 18. We have to go 44. Make that an 18. That had not. Oh, it just drag and dropped and moved some bytes. You have to be really careful with this hex editor. You have to pay attention. Nope, don't save the changes because I have no idea what it just changed. So now we got to go back in. Okay, 44. Need to make this 18. It was -2 in the original game. Yeah. So I made it go from -2 armor class on the Master Ninja to -14. So it's going to be a lot harder to hit. But it makes it where you can summon, not summon, 8 can appear. I'm changing that to 3. And that is 16 bytes from the first number. Right here, instead of 8, we're making it where only 3 can appear in a group. Okay. Sadstam says maybe those bytes weren't needed. Yeah, see, here's the challenge. When you're hex editing files that have a set structure, if you remove a byte or add a byte, so it shifts everything, you break everything. You're done. So you have to be very careful. Have to make sure that you're just replacing bytes and not adding or removing any. Okay, War Giant is next. Actually, I'm going to boost the experience on the Master Ninja also. We're going to make it 4,500 instead of 3,072. All right, let's find where that's at. 20. So this is actually C00, I believe. No. 0C0. Let's double check it on our calculator. Let's see, how do we do that? Decimal of 3072. Yeah. 000C. So this is actually the first number. So that 00, that's confusing because there's a bunch of other zeros, but that first on the right highlighted yellow is the first byte. So when we change this to 4,500, we need 94 and then 11. So 94 needs to be on the left and then 11. Like that. So now he'll give you 4,500 experience when you kill him. Okay. War Giant, we need a nerf. His min hit. Make this a 1. Hit points. Hit points on a War Giant in the original game were a minimum of 6, maximum of 69. I am changing to minimum of 100, maximum of 150. So hit points start 24. Oops, wrong file. 24. So there's the 6. We need 100, which is 64. And then max 150. That is 96. Done. Okay, I have his armor class is -6. In the original game, it was -3. Make sure I've changed it. I have not. That's -3. So it's -6 good enough? Trying to think of where these occur. These happen. I think these are in catacombs. It's either that or Fansker's castle. I think I'm going to make it -8. Which would be 18 because we have to go past the 10 armor class. 12 is the hex. Okay, any other adjustments? Nope. Next is Warrior Elite. Hit points used to be 4 to 67. We're going to make it 60 to 100. Which is 3C. 100 is 64. Armor class, I'm going to make -10. Original game was -3. So that's position 44. So 10 minus another 10, 20. Hex of 14. Min armor class they can hit. It's -6 in the original game. I'm going to make it -1. Give them a slight nerf there. So -1 is 11. Yeah. Here's 0B. I already had it at 0, so I changed it to from 0 to -1. I'm actually at the point now where I could start playing because a lot of these changes I'm making, actually all the changes I'm making now, will carry over onto a new game automatically. Like, it'll update the game on the fly if you close the game and restart it. The things that would not do that are Garth's shop. When you create a new game, that's when it reads from these files and loads the contents into your save game file. So if I messed with Garth's shop's contents, I'd have to start a new game to witness it. And I've already done, I think, all the changes I want in Garth's shop. So I think I'm going to create some characters right now. That's enough hex editing for now. Let's create some characters. Let's figure out what kind of party I want to make to do my testing. I think I want to have a pretty diverse one. Let's get the windows set up here. Oh, never remembers my window position. So I always have to redo this. Okay, we're going to flip to the Bard's Tale window. There we go. Let's adjust this. Nice. New game. Mr. Spock says, "Are you going to add a hidden D Forte character?" LOL. I will never tell, Mr. Spock. If I did something like that, that would be for someone to discover. Oh, hold on. I want to set the legacy options. Okay. Legacy mode. Don't want individual inventory. Don't want that. Game specific songs, no. Use unequipped items. I do want that enabled. I want the auto map. Full XP requirements, good. Save a guild only, no. No item and empty house is good. Okay. But yeah, I like putting Easter eggs in games and stuff. Create new members. All right, what are we gonna do? Man, we got so many options. Not enough slots. Definitely gonna have a rogue because I added the ground disarmor. I'm almost tempted to try a no caster run again. Maybe just have one caster. Okay. Let's do one caster, but before that, let's do Hobbit Rogue. Ooh, this is nice. The hit points are a little low. That 18 dex, 17 luck is really good. Yeah, we'll go with the default. Shady. I want to have a hunter this time. Let's do a female. Hobbit again. Oh, you can't do a hobbit. I think it can only be human or half orc. Look. Oh, dwarf. Gnome? A gnome could be a hunter. That's interesting. Let me see what kind of luck they get. Dexterity 14 max. Luck 11 max. Let's do human. 12 luck max. Seeing 15 dexterity. Dwarves are definitely going to be slow. Probably bad luck too. Yeah, that looks terrible. Not doing that. Half elves cannot be hunters. Half orcs. Actually, not that bad. 15 dexterity I'm seeing. One high dex first. It's not bad. Okay, it's fine. Lori, named after my wife. Let's see. We'll go ahead and do a bard because I need to test some of the balances I'm doing on them. Let's do female again. Hobbit. Hobbits are the best race. With their high dex and luck. Wow, that's really good. Holly. Rogue, Hunter, Bard. Let's do a Paladin. I don't think they can be hobbits. No. Do a warrior, Hobbit warrior. Yeah, I think I'm not going to get a monk. We're going to do a warrior and a paladin. Gosh, a monk would be good for testing though, dang it. Yeah, I need to make one to test hitting them with the really low armor class. Okay, let's do a paladin instead then. Who can we be? Can we be an elf? Yes, elf paladin. Elf's probably second best. We want 16 dex, 12 luck. Ooh, 13 luck. Ah, 15 hit points. We can't do that on a paladin. It's way too low. Dang. There we go. 16 dex, 13 luck, 28 hit points. That's good. Let's see. Clyde. Really want some monster slots too. I only have one monster slot if I go with a monk and a caster. Okay. Fourteen hit points, can't do it. Luck is very important on monks because they have the least spell save. This is good. Shinobi. Okay. Do I want to have a caster? It's gonna be hard with that one. I'm gonna start with Conjure Magician. Conjure gets Trap Zap. If I decide to keep on the Rogue, which is very iffy right now, I could find those ground disarms. I think I'm gonna get rid of the Rogue so I can have 2 monster slots. So let's go with Conjure. This actually probably wants higher intelligence so I can get more spell points. You have to get it really high though. So let's do, is it the gnome that's the smartest? 17. You have to have 17 or 18, I think, to start getting bonuses. Maybe 16, I'm not sure. Wow, this is actually pretty good. Xena. Okay, remove Rogue. This is what we're going with. Right off the bat, we see our health potion. 300 for one. See some shurikens, you get 10 for 600. Spell spears 1,000 for one. So those are the new items. Let's see. We're gonna get chainmail first. We'll get enough money pretty quick on upgrades. The most economical first. The monk. Okay. Conjure, we're not getting anything right now. Now we need some weapons for the first fight. Probably do a staff, it's cheap. Does the same damage as a mace. I need to bump up the damage on a mace there. Never understood that. And I need to swap out the broadsword with something else too, I think. In the shop. Maybe even the spear. I'll think about all that. Anyway, let's see. Staff. Monk will just use martial arts right now. And then we have 220 left. Let's get a tower shield for you. Tower shield for you. Okay. Let's change the order. Paladin up front. So one thing I've discovered with all the testing I've done, when the monsters cast a spell on the party, it's the first character in the party that determines the chance to resist for the whole party. So in general, you want to put a paladin up front as they get higher level. In the beginning, they actually have a lower spell save, but than the other classes. But once they get to like this, I don't know, level 18, 20 or something like that, they have +6 or something on spell save, higher than any other class. Okay, we'll have Hunter Bard. We'll put the monk here. Yeah, that looks good. Okay. Let's see how we do. I can't even play a bard song because I don't have an instrument yet. Hey, we got a staff for Xena. Yeah, we need to get a mandolin so we can start playing Traveler's Tune. Or we'll get a harp. Let's see. Chainmail. There we go. Did I buy the monk chainmail? Let me double check. Yeah, okay. $264. Hunter. You have a power shield already. You have gauntlets. You can wear plate armor, so I'm just going to save up for that. I think we have all that. Okay. So I'm going to do the no grind play. So we'll never go in the same room. Ooh. These can wither us. I'm going to run from that. Aha. This might be tough. Shoo. 15 damage, run. I do not want to do that. Don't have enough gold. Four barbarians, come on. This is going to be hard too. Nice. Short sword. It's the same as a staff, but it'll give a different sound effect. When Lori gets hit, she's a little bit of a drama queen. So we can buy a spell spear now. We're buying that for the paladin. Okay, what have we not been in yet? Here. Yeah, that should be enough money to heal now. 170. No grind. Can't fight that. It's too expensive if we get withered. Plate armor, nice. We need to heal. No, we don't need to heal. Getting too many encounters. I have not changed any of that. Yeah. This guy's within range. I hit him. Don't want to fight him when they're 20 feet away. Other armor. Sounds like it's hitting a can. It's like bang, clang. Okay, that's enough to go buy some more plate armor. Maybe it's another spell spear. So let's see, the hunter, the bard. Let's get you one of these. Heal. Mr. Spock says those empty houses would be a good place for hidden surprises too. Yeah. They did that in the original, like right here. They have the credits in this room. It's funny. Gosh, I think I'm gonna buy some shurikens. Oh, I'm short. But I can give those to the hunter, and if we're in a fight with those magicians again, they're 30 feet away, we can hit them. That is nice, isn't it? Nice. I already won that one. It's from the other side. Actually, I am going to get a drink while we're here. Order a drink. Buy a wineskin, 10 servings. I was trying to bump the price up on the wineskins. I have not succeeded on that yet. Because it's not an item, it's kind of different with how the purchase works there. Can't find the game code. Oh, skeletons. It's nighttime already. Holy moly, we cannot fight 8 barbarians. Let's try it. We have 2 spell spears. Can do decent damage. Got him. $460 gold to heal everybody. Okay, let's see. Hunter. Here you have scale. Xena, do you have leather gloves? Okay. More shield. Oh, she needs plate armor, I think. No, she can't wear it. Never mind. Four skeletons. Oh, I made these harder. Chance to hit them. Fairly close to level up. I have to test out the healing potions. Since I have a conjure, I don't have healing right now. Get a few. Okay. Mage could use those on the melee characters in a fight. I already did this room. I did it from the other side. Ooh, a mercenary wants to join. Sure. It's for me. Can bards use shurikens? They can. She can throw them. One gnome. Mercenary putting in some good work there. So we'll use a shuriken here, range attack 30, and then we'll use a health potion on Lori. Use the other one on the mercenary. Sweet. So close to level up. Need to go heal though. Let's go around this way. This one. There's 2 level ups. Ah, this will be interesting. Let's see, hit him with our shuriken. Got him. Now the monsters are all going to be tougher. It's nighttime. Holy moly. We're going to have to... Oh, it won't let us run. Already used up my healing potions. Let's do a Traveler's Tune. Slide bit the dust. Mithril Dagger. $1,400. That's okay. We have enough. Okay. I don't know if I want to fight anything in the darkness. Oh, wait a minute. Do I still have one more healing potion? I guess it showed it because we saw one. We had one before. Even though we don't have it in our inventory anymore. It's dangerous fighting at nighttime. Oh my goodness. This is a bad idea. A mercenary died. Okay, now we're ready for a level up. I hate to make it daytime to train, but we need to. Spears. We can throw them. Hang on to them. We'll do Traveler's Tune after we look. Oh, I shouldn't have used the wineskin. We would have got 2 more that way. That's okay. I can just go to the tavern right here. 1 hit point on the paladin. That was rough. +1 luck on the monk at least. 1 hit point on the hunter. Intelligence. 15 hit points on the bard. Gosh, the bard's a tank. +6, +1. Nice. Nice. 17 intelligence now. Okay. Let's see how much it costs to bring that mercenary back. Oops. May not be worth it. Don't have enough gold. Wow, he must be really expensive. 3,600. I don't think so. We'll just leave him dead in the party for now. we got a critical hit. I'm thinking of it. What is skeleton? Let me look. I don't know if I change them. Hit points, min hit points. It's 32. Let's see. They can have 1 hit point? No, that can't be right. It's 24. Okay, 24. Can have 8 hit points minimum. Skeleton, where are you? No, I want to make that 15 to 35. All right, let's see, 15. Is 0F. $35. 23. And then experience we need to bump up. $6E. Okay, we're gonna make it 512. Which is 0002. It's on the right. 0002. Okay. That won't take effect unless I restart the game, but I don't care about that. I'm not going to do that. Okay, we already did all those. Where are my encounters? There we go. Arrows. I'll do one more fight after this. Okay, halberd. That's weaker than the spell spear, though. Nice. Okay, we will save it. We'll call this mod test. Alright, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.